Welcome everybody to another spicy speculation on Furia, the next champion coming to Paladins, a support champion, very importantly. This time around we have another image teased from Paladins showing off their character pretty much fully, in an art form, not in their model form. And this champion is going to be fully announced on Thursday, 2 PM EDT on the YouTube and Twitch. Be sure to let me know all of your spicy speculation in the comment section below as we go through the video. Anyway, here's the image, and the tweet reads, "Two sisters, two fates, defined by the forces of darkness and light. The pyre has taken form. Furia will have a righteous vengeance." So we can actually see in the picture Furia on the left and hi-rez on the right. If you haven't been keeping up with my other videos, the first image they released was of the town hi-rez, which was destroyed, and in hi-rez lore, hi-rez takes the name of the town she destroys. One thing speculated on before was the image shown by hi-rez, which said, "The most treasured heirlooms are memories of our family," which showed two people, one on the left with blonde hair, one on the right with brown hair, in the locket that was shown on top of the book, another part of the spoilers, that had the carvings Abby and Sarah on the table. Now the speculation was that this hand was from Maeve, but actually now we can see with the image of Furia herself that Furia has these sort of braces, like some sort of wrist armor, and that glove going on. So that is actually Furia holding the locket, maybe looking back at some of her past. And Furia is almost certainly the one on the left, which I would guess is Abby rather than Sarah. Although hi-rez have now announced in this actual book that the champion is called Furia. Well, that's just assumed, so I would guess that the champion this time around is actually called Furia. Most of the data mines beforehand have been code names, but since they've listed it here, then that's probably the case that it's actually her final name. Unless, of course, it's referring to some sort of general term for the icon that has been embodied in Furia. Again, we know that they are a support, and we can see here that they're basically sort of like a female Armored Knight, Templar type thing. And we picked up before on the themes of fire and light, and there seems to be almost like a phoenix sort of theme going on with the champion, with those massive plumes coming out of their back, almost like a cape, or otherwise wings. They actually seem more like wings because there's two on either side. You can see on the right hand side, one is almost coming around, and there's also one on the left. Another thing you can see on the braces on top of the gloves, you can see the T sort of symbol that was linked to the symbol on the churches, which I guess is the Order of the Pyre, whether they are part of a larger religion in the hi-rez realm or just a smaller sect of something that maybe worships a smaller deity. It might be here that hi-rez comes from the Abyss, a smaller deity, and the Pyre is also maybe like one of this pantheon of gods and goddesses within the Paladins realm, although that's spicy speculation and we'll have to see on that one. The other thing that's prominent Furia here is her weapon that she's holding outstretched. Now it looks almost like a club or a mace on first inspection, or even like the hilt of a sword. However, you can see that she's holding on to like a handle that comes off with a massive trigger. It almost looks like a little handle protruding off of the weapon, which would make me think that this is somehow a mechanized weapon. And before we got the theme of fire, so does this fire sort of little mini fireballs, maybe even a spread of fireballs like a shotgun? We haven't had a shotgun yet on a support. We've had the SMG with Genos and some projectile based stuff with Maldamba and Pip and Grover. It could even work a bit like Ash's weapon. It does look something that's mechanized, between something mechanized and something a bit pseudoscience-y or magical. Maybe the handle controls the flow of her sort of phoenix or flame power rushing through the weapon. But it is quite hard to see exactly what is at the bottom of it. The other thing it could be is like an old Chinese boomstick type thing that used to hold and fire off a spread of little rockets or shrapnel from firing off gunpowder. That'd be my few little guesses there. On the wings protruding out the back of Furia with her abilities, will one of her escape abilities be her wings outspreading and flying forwards maybe? Maybe even a flame trail behind her, damaging enemies behind her. Maybe even, because it's sort of twisting around here, maybe she spins around like on a spin top. Maybe a little bit like Xin. Maybe the wings are just for the ultimate, maybe they come out spread. Maybe you fly when you're ultiing, or maybe it's just a symbol for when your ultimate is going off. All in all, I quite like the vibe going on here from the champion Furia, although she is another humanoid, so some people are going to be a little bit upset. Although even though Khan is a humanoid, he is kind of more just a hulking pile of armor ridiculousness slash 40k Chaos Space Marine type thing. So we have kind of had a little bit of our share of crazy. I mean, we can't actually see her legs in this image. Maybe she has Phoenix bird legs. Maybe that's what's going on here. It does actually look, if you zoom right in on where her hips are, you can't exactly see where her hips end. I mean, it does look like a human leg, I won't lie. But you never know. You never know. Could be half bird, half woman, like a harpy. We did actually have that as referring to this sort of Fury idea being like these sort of harpies or old Greek witch type things. Lore-wise between Furia and hi-rez. I mean, it says, curse the abyss for hi-rez has claimed a soul. Praise a pyre for Furia has been given form. Now, did both of these characters lose both of like the people here? Did Abby and Sarah completely disappear when they were inhabited by these creatures? I mean, the idea that Furia is trying to get vengeance, is it because she is still either aware or still Abby herself? The other image I didn't talk about before was the sign saying, attention, the abyss hungers, you've been chosen, your sacrifice keeps the realm safe, pinned to a doorway. And the tweet says, extreme measures must sometimes be taken to protect all citizens of the realm from potential threats. The magistrate thanks you for understanding and sacrifice. Now that's another question there as to what the magistrate were doing. I mean, it sounds like they were trying to appease the abyss to not maybe have the disaster of the explosion image that came up next on Twitter, where there's basically the town being destroyed. The church actually seems to be okay. It looks like it's still lit up nicely. But were they just appeasing the abyss to try and summon Furia? Or perhaps it was the faction themselves, the sort of religious subsection of the pyre, trying to summon Furia that angered the abyss, or something along those lines. And why in particular these two were picked out to be inhabited by two of these sort of beings, unless of course Furia isn't inhabited by some sort of crazy holy power and is just so smitten with the idea of revenge as maybe one of the last survivors of this disaster, and her sister being taken away from her, that she became a paladin with her crystals, because there is actually a crystal on the middle of her weapon, on the sort of wherever either the barrel of the gun or the end of the sword is. I mean, it could be a sword, it could be a sword gun. hi-rez themselves do talk about light and darkness, but again, are these actually good and evil here? Is Furia actually part of the Paladins and the Resistance, or is she just part of the Magistrate again and part of the order of things? And is she more sort of a different shade of neutral than the hi-rez sort of chaotic neutral? Or maybe even hi-rez is completely evil in this scenario and she is sort of represents destruction and the end of all things. Maybe the abyss is just a set of dimensions that has been destroyed and emptied, and that's maybe her goal, to sort of turn everything into an empty void or abyss. But that is all very spicy speculation. All in all, again, I hope that this champion is sort of a main healer like Jeno Smaldamba. Like I said, maybe throwing her plumes, wrapping her wings around an ally. Hopefully it'll be something aimed a bit like Maldamba's heal, maybe with a bit more skill than the Genos heal. But that's my 2 cents, as just having more main healers and more stuff in the meta for more competitive games is always good in my opinion. So anyway, be sure to let me know all of your spicy speculation in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and hit that bell icon to become part of the notification squad. Thank you all very much for watching. Till next time, Joshino.